TV headquarters.
Welcome back to Survivor China Preview. I'm Earl Cole. Now, you've already met some of this season's colorful castaways. Now it's time to meet a few more, including the youngest contestant, known as Frosty, and the oldest, who goes by the name Chicken.
I grew up on a poultry farm, then we got into young farmers and FFA in the 7th and 8th grade, and it's just kind of a nickname. Then it's just followed me all my life.
He's a quintessential survivor. He's just a character.
I'm 47 years old. I think I'm the oldest of this group.
Chicken's had to deal with a lot of hardships in his life.
My ex-wife, my first wife, was seeing my father, and I didn't know about it. Terrible. Basically, I found out about it. The first thing I done was told my mom. And the first thing she done, she kicked his ass out in the road.
And before coming to Survivor, this sheltered chicken farmer had never even traveled outside his home state of Virginia.
Whether they know it or not, when I landed here, you know, I've accomplished what I want to accomplish. Everything else is just a plus.
At the other end of the age spectrum is Mike, known as Frosty. And at age 20, he's not only the youngest contestant in China, he's the youngest player ever.
I think being the youngest person out there is actually going to be an advantage for me, because people are going to see me as the youngest person and not, you know, feel so threatened by me.
What's really intriguing about him physically is he does parkour, which is a sport where you leap from wall to wall, or you scale up walls, you hop over cars.
The discipline of parkour, which is moving efficiently through any environment you're in, kind of like an obstacle course. But free running adds style and flair.
I think Frosty could last a while. If Frosty lasts until the individual part of the game, he could be a threat.
I think I'll be able to take care of myself. Hopefully, the more hard work I put into it, the nicer place I'll have to live. So that's my plan right now. Hopefully, I can bring a little bit of that ninja skill to the island.
If I go in there without expectations, then it's going to be a fresh and exciting experience for me. I'm a Christian radio host, and I'm also a mother of 4, and been married to my husband Rod for 18 years. And I also teach fitness classes on the side.
This 38-year-old South Carolina mom has been applying for Survivor since the 3rd season. And she says being away from her tight-knit family will be her biggest obstacle in the game.
That's the challenge for me. But you know, I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to prove to myself that I can do something on my own. Because, you know, I went from being the daughter to being the wife to being the mom. I've never done anything just like by myself. And so that's a huge challenge for me. And it's hard.
And as a devout Christian, Leslie feels there might be other struggles ahead as well.
Yeah, it's a big struggle as a Christian. You know, just how do I do this? And as I pray about it, God says, trust me. And when he says trust me, I have to do it.
I think Leslie will do well enough that she won't be first out.
I'm going to do really well. I just know it.
I want to come off as the kid who's smart and confident, but doesn't know everything.
Effervescent 22-year-old flight attendant Todd has been a Survivor superfan since the very first episode.
This is something I've wanted since I was 16 years old. So I've been a fan forever, you know, and now that I have the chance to be out here playing this game, I am so excited. I can't even tell you. I'm a smaller person, and people underestimate me a lot, and I want to get out there and show people that, yeah, I can do this. I'm tough, you know?
This openly gay Utah native was raised as a Mormon, and after coming out at age 19, he says he hasn't lost his faith.
I don't feel like everything that the church has taught me has made me who I am, because they disapprove of a lot of things that I am. But I do believe in God, and I am happy I was raised that way so that I can have what I feel spiritually close to me.
I think Todd's very good at knowing when to get out of the way, and you be the hero. And I'm learning from you, you know? He'll make somebody a mentor. I expect Todd to be around for a while.
Later in the show, we'll introduce you to even more of the castaways of Survivor China. But up next...
Coming up, I'm going to give you a tour of Tribal Council for Survivor China. Stick around.
Welcome back to Survivor China Preview. I'm Earl Cole. Now, even though no survivor wants to go there, the show creates incredible looks for Tribal Council. Now, for the China season, the production crew really outdid themselves with the biggest, boldest Tribal Council set ever.
Okay, so we are at Tribal Council for Survivor China. This is the entryway for the survivors. They'll come past the Chinese lanterns. They'll walk up this area right here. And what they will see is, for my money, the coolest Tribal Council yet. Take a look. Come on in. This is where the survivors will sit at Tribal Council. We have some very cool torches this year, lots of symbols and influences from Chinese art. This was one of the biggest builds that we've done. It was 7 tons of steel, 6 tons of concrete. There's 2 tons of tile that are on all of the roofs of Tribal, and as a result, all of the framing of this had to be steel, so it is a massive structure. In fact, the Tribal Council that we built here is the tallest building anywhere around. So as a result, we had to put a lightning rod at the top and a lightning grid underneath in case lightning strikes. The kind of sad part of it is that when we're done, we tear it down. Since we are just a few hours away from our first tribal, I want to make sure the snuffer works. Got a pretty cool snuffer this year. It is a dragon because that's huge in Chinese art. But the most important thing is that the snuffer works. This one's going to do just fine. Well, if you're a Survivor fan, then you know this area. This is the voting area where the survivors come up and cast their votes. This is kind of cool. This is the pen that they will use to write down the names, but the mold for this is actually an opium pipe. This is the bowl, this is the long shaft, and then this would have been the mouthpiece. We, of course, are using it for a very acceptable and functional pen to write with. Oh, here's a vote. John Henson, time for you to go. And then the last part of Tribal Council is once you've had your torch snuffed, you're out of the game, you walk down these steps, and it's just a lonely, cold, dark walk, which I don't mind making. See you later, TV Guide Network.
Now let's go from the place most survivors fear to the person we all love to talk to, show psychologist Dr. Liza Siegel.
I'm Dr. Liza Siegel, and I'm the show's psychologist.
The truth is, we have a team of psychologists led by Dr. Liza who do profiles on these people so in depth. They can tell us things about these guys that the survivors themselves don't know. And 90% of the time, it plays out on the show.
We do a full battery of psychological tests and a whole 1-hour interview. People say that at the end of that, we know them better than their friends and their family.
And when the torch is snuffed, Dr. Liza is on hand once again.
When they're voted off, I don't go talk to them, our producers don't go talk to them. Dr. Liza's there with, something to drink and your favorite snack, and she's just a safe person.
Dr. Liza feels that this season harkens back to the show's earlier days.
I think somehow we've gotten back to what the show was in the first 4 or 5 seasons. A very energetic, very lively cast, a lot of big personalities.
Dr. Liza also wrote a book about her experiences called Sweet Success.
I wrote a book about positive personality traits and how they contribute to people's success. I've had some wonderful, wonderful learning experiences. I've learned so much. It's been great.
Up next,
I am single. A romantic relationship on the island could happen.
There's also a few cute guys out here, so good to meet them.
could a showmance blossom among the hotties on the island? Plus, we've got your exclusive sneak peek at an actual challenge this season. There's much more Survivor China preview to come here on TV.